The writers of the Gospels intended to show Jesus as a Jew. They attempted to connect him to Jewish kingship through the Davidic line. This was the result of the first official Christian assembly, the Council of Jerusalem, convened by James, either the cousin or the brother of Jesus, in the city of Jerusalem sometime between 49 and 52 A.D. The connection to the Jewish faith was important at the time. This is because Christians in Jerusalem were being persecuted, stoned, and killed by the Jews. That first assembly, convened by James, was to convince Jews that Jesus was the Jewish Messiah, and thus conversion was necessary for them. James hoped that the new faith would find solid ground in Jerusalem and that the persecution of Christians would end. However, this failed, and soon after, he was killed.
So like a curious traveler on a quest, we embark upon a journey of information. Stay with us for a ride into knowledge.
A recent New York Times article echoes Ilhan Omar's recent contention that Jesus was most likely a Palestinian man with dark skin. Now, this is generating a fierce pushback from the Jewish community. The executive director of Boston's Jewish Community Relations Council, Jeremy Curtin, he tweeted, "Important to point out that no, Jesus did not identify as a Palestinian. He was a Judean Jew, and for him, the term Palestinian was that of Roman occupier." A professor of Jewish history at Yeshiva University, Stephen Fine, responded on the Times comment page that for sure Jesus was a youngish Jewish man who looked like other Jews of his place and time. Another Jewish Times reader responded in the comment section, "I am amazed that the author of this article cannot simply state that Jesus was a Jew. He uses the term Palestinian." During Jesus' lifetime, the Romans called the province which they controlled Judea. Later, they renamed it Syria Palestinia. Referring to Jesus as a Palestinian is simply misleading in the context of his era. The editorial director of the Times Reader Central, Hannah Ingber, responded to the complaint. "You're of course right that Jesus was Jewish. We never intended to imply that he wasn't, and we didn't leave the details out to make a point, as some readers wondered. The article was focused on what he particularly looked like, but again, we do hear your concern." Now, a journalist with the Jewish Chronicle in London, Daniel Sugarman, has described the Jesus was a Palestinian claim as idiocy and deliberate historical revisionism designed to deny the Jewish connection to the Holy Land. An official to the Simon Wiesenthal Center, Rabbi Abram Cooper, told the Jewish Journal newspaper that the claim Jesus was a Palestinian is a grotesque insult. The Journal observed this claim is being made not only by the Times, but by a Muslim American Democratic congressman who supports the movement to boycott, divest from, and impose economic sanctions on Israel, Ilhan Omar. Personally, I'm tempted to quip that the Palestinians want him. They can have him. It's an unseemingly, or at least somewhat ironic, for Jews to be scrambling to claim credit for the founder of a non-Jewish religion. So far as the story can be discerned, though, he does appear to have started out as a Jew. As time went on, at least as told in the Christian Bible, though, he seems to have been doing more of his own thing. His followers turned into something definitely different from Judaism. Now, of course, Jesus was neither a Palestinian nor a Jew. So this entire article is arguing over two false courses. As the Jewish writer of the article admits, on one level, he, as a Jew, has no interest in the ethnicity of Christ, except it posters Israel's right to exist. And if insisting Jesus was a Jew helps to legitimate the Jews' right to take the land of Israel from the Palestinian Arabs, then so be it. They will continue to give lip service to Jesus being a Jew until the Palestinians are no longer present in the disputed territories, and the useful idiot evangelical Christian Zionists no longer need to be placated. But there is an obvious advantage for the Jews to go along with the claim that Jesus was a Palestinian. After all, if Jesus was a Palestinian and not a Jew, then their Jewish ancestors were entirely justified in rejecting Christ as their Messiah and calling for his murder. So as long as they maintain that Jesus was a Jew, they're going to have to continue falsely believing that Jesus started out as a good Jew who went rogue and needed to be corrected for his transgressions. Either way, as long as Christians continue to believe this, Jesus was a Jew, the whole world will continue to be deceived. The story of Jesus is full of powerful lessons that have shaped Christianity around the world for thousands of years. Some Christians who believe that Jesus was a Jew think that his role was to rebel against the Romans and claim himself a king. This was as if he were a member of the military arm of the Pharisees. And what's more, during that time, the Roman territory of Phoenicia actually extended south to the Roman territory of Galilee, which holds Nazareth, while Galilee was completely outside of Judah. The insanity of Christians who believe that the only way to God is through Jesus, but foolishly worship the people who think Christ is the fraud. You know who they are? That's the most illogical conspiracy in the world. Jesus, of course, was not a Jew, nor even a Judean, nor was he a resident of Judea. Jesus of Nazareth was a Galilean, or at least a resident of Galilee. Take note, the Bible refers to Jacob as both Jacob and Israel, even after his renaming most of the time. Hence, when Jesus was quoting the Bible as saying, "I was only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel," he wasn't talking about either the Jews of today or the Pharisaic priests of his day or the modern day country of Israel. He was talking about the descendants of Jacob, Israel, the 12 tribes. Again, Jesus was not a Jew and has nothing to do with those Talmudists who call themselves Jews today. So this is just another term, Israel, which the deceptive people have taken and changed the modern meaning to refer to themselves when it does not. Thus, due to indoctrination and the willful ignorance of today's Christians and their leaders, confusion reigns. Just more food for thought.
Thanks for watching this and all our videos. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until we meet again, stay curious, fellow travelers, and have a great day.